Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hello, welcome back to Lady Lovestead Reads. Today I'm celebrating my 1-year BookTube anniversary. For my BookTube anniversary, I had 9 of my friends recommend a book for me to read in the coming year, and I'm so excited to share with you their recommendations. I also wanted to share with you 9 things that I have learned or that have changed for me since starting BookTube. The first thing that has changed for me since starting BookTube is I read so much more than what I used to read. And it's not that I didn't want to read, it's that I started to really make reading a priority because it just is so motivating to come onto BookTube and to talk to your friends about what you're reading and to read as much as you can and to share as much as you can about the books that you're reading and loving. It just makes for such a rich BookTube experience. And so I was able to really start carving out a lot of time for myself to read more books. And I used to read anywhere between like 30 and 40 books a year, but it is October and so far this year I've already read almost 140 books. And so the biggest change that I have seen in my reading habits since starting BookTube is just that I read so many more books. I had 9 of my best BookTube buddies recommend some books for me to read in this video, and these are folks that I've gotten to know over the past year and who I consider friends. So the first recommendation comes from my friend Angel at Angel Reads. Angel and I are recent friends. We just met like a couple months ago, and he started his BookTube channel recently. And he reads a lot of like mysteries and thrillers and literary fiction and fantasy and manga. And we have a very similar reading tastes and preferences. So I'm really excited to see what Angel recommends.
Hey Jessica, happy BookTube anniversary. Congratulations. The book that I'm going to recommend is This Is Not the Just Show. And this book takes place in the 90s while you're following this character named Jessica Flynn, who's navigating her junior year of high school. She realizes that she has a crush on her childhood best friend, which is causing a whole lot of drama in her life. On top of that, when she's in the locker room with one of her friends, the friend's backpack slips open and an iPhone falls out. And that starts this whole mystery as how did the iPhone end up in the 90s, and you're taking on this whirlwind ride throughout this book. It really is a page turner, and it totally gives you the vibes of the Twilight Zone meets Black Mirror. And that's all I can say about this book. I hope you enjoy it, and again, happy BookTube anniversary.
Awesome! I am excited for that. I actually saw Angel read This Is the Just Show in one of his previous reading wrap-ups and added it to my TBR after seeing him discuss that book. It sounds so interesting. I really like The Truman Show, and so I think I'll probably really love that book. So thank you so much, Angel, for the recommendation. I'm really excited to read This Is the Just Show. Okay, the second thing that has changed for me since starting BookTube is that I actually have started to enjoy romance. Before starting BookTube, I was very much not a romance person, and I had a bit of an attitude about it. Like, I was a bit judgy about romance, not even going to lie. I thought that romance books were kind of trashy and weren't really worth my time, and I have watched several BookTube channels that have really just changed that perception for me. One of them is Crystal at Crystal's Bookish Life, and then another booktuber who's changed that for me. I mean, there's been several. So there's Crystal at Crystal's Bookish Life, there's Mayana at Mayana Reads, there is Sam at Sam Reads a Little, Naima at, I think it's Naima Reads. So there have been a lot of really amazing booktubers who have influenced me to give romance a try, and I've actually discovered that I do like certain subgenres of romance. Like, I enjoy a dark romance, I enjoy some paranormal romance, I enjoy some contemporary romance with like certain tropes and themes, And so I'm excited in the coming year to just explore this more and really see what I like. There have definitely been some misses still. Like I'm struggling with historical romance. Historical romance might not be my thing. Cozy romance might not be my thing, but it's something that has surely changed for me because I used to be such a snob about the romance genre just in general. And speaking of romance, my next BookTube friend is Becca, and Becca reads a lot of romance. She's another person who's influenced me to sort of embrace reading romance again. Her channel is Becca Woodward. She also worked previously as a librarian. She's got a lot of really good book recommendations, particularly books that are like joyful and fun to read. She has good Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So if you have Kindle Unlimited and you're kind of like, I don't even know where to start to find what I want to find, check out some of Becca's videos. She's got really good Kindle Unlimited videos. Becca and I have been buddy reading classics. So we buddy read Emma back in, I want to say it was March that we read Emma. And then we're going to be reading The Phantom of the Opera in November. She's just great. So check out her channel. Excited to see what she recommends.
Hi Jessica, congratulations and a happy BookTube anniversary. Isn't it crazy how fast a year goes by on BookTube? Today I am going to recommend a book for you that might not be what you were expecting. Because, as you know, I read a ton of romance, and I'm not going to recommend to you a romance novel. Today I want to talk about Dead Mountain, the untold true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident by Donnie Icar. This is nonfiction, and it is about the Dyatlov Pass incident that happened in the 1950s. It is told in a narrative way, which is why I absolutely loved it. I read this coming off of reading Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, which I also loved. I really love books that are about like winter disasters. This happened in the Russian Ural Mountains, and this group of scientists, adventurers, I don't really remember, it's been a while since I've read it, they end up all dying during this time period, and when their bodies are found, it's kind of shocking because some of them are like in some various form of undress while they're in the middle of like a Russian winter storm, and so there's a lot of confusion on like what happened. And so this is just the author's investigation about the incident and the people that died and what he believes happened to them. It is so interesting, and I don't usually love nonfiction, but I really enjoy a narrative nonfiction, and like I said, I just love stories about winter disasters. So I highly recommend this book. I hope you enjoy it, and if you've already read it, well, I hope you enjoy your reread of this very eerie book. Once again, happy BookTube anniversary. I'm glad to have met you in this past year, and I am looking forward to all of the content that you put out in the future. Bye.
Okay, that is cool. I love that she recommended a nonfiction because I do read a lot of nonfiction, and I doubt that my other friends on this list are going to recommend any nonfiction. So she might be the only person who recommends nonfiction, and I love that. And it's so funny because I want to say earlier this summer, my boyfriend and I were talking about this particular event that she describes, and he was telling me about it. I had never heard of it. He was telling me about it, and I just kept saying, like, what? Like, how is that possible? What? Like, it was such an intriguing story that he was telling me about this particular event. And my boyfriend really likes stories about like mountain climbing and unsolved mysteries and true crime and all this other stuff. So I think that is actually a book that my boyfriend and I might read together, which is really exciting. So that is a fantastic recommendation. Thank you so much, Becca. The third thing that has changed for me since starting BookTube, I have definitely refined my taste in books. So before starting BookTube, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit with talking about romance, but I was pretty much a literary snob, and I only wanted to read like literary fiction and then some fantasy, like specifically urban fantasy. I had a real bad attitude about things like YA fantasy and romance and cozy mysteries even. And I just have learned to kind of set that aside and embrace all the different genres that are out there, because truly there's something out there in every genre for everyone, I think. It's just a matter of figuring out what your tastes are. So I really have started to refine my tastes as a reader. Like, I really like dark academia as a theme. I really like pirates and vampires as themes. I like books set in certain cities. I like certain tropes within romance. I like classics. Like, I'm still going to read a lot of the classics, but I know that I prefer gothic classics for my classics. So like, I really am starting to figure out exactly what it is I like to read, which is exciting because that means I'm going to have so many good books in the future. Okay, BookTube friend number 3 is Cozy, and Cozy doesn't actually have a BookTube channel where she posts like reading updates or anything like that, but she does do live reading sprints. She is one of our leaders of the Killing Time with Cozy book club, and I adore Cozy. She's a wonderful, beautiful person, and she's read over 500, probably closer to 600 cozy mysteries. And so if I'm looking for a particular kind of cozy mystery, she is one of the first people that I go to. So I'm guessing she's going to recommend a cozy mystery, and I'm really excited to see what it is.
Hi Jessica, I just wanted to say congrats on your BookTube anniversary. So you know I was going to recommend a cozy mystery because that's my favorite genre. So I recommend Killer Jam. It's book number 1 in the Dewberry Farm Mystery series by Karen McInerney. It's a Kindle Unlimited series. There's currently 7 books, and the first book comes with a free Audible version, so you could listen to it or read it. And I absolutely love this series, and I think if you gave it a try, you'd love it too. The main character is Lucy, and she buys her grandmother's farm in Buttercup, Texas. And as the series progresses, you get to see her farm grow and her relationships grow. And she gets lots of farm animals like cows and chickens and goats. And I think there's dogs and cats. I love everything about this series. The writing, the characters, the side characters, the setting, the farm, the town, the mysteries. I just absolutely love this series. And I think if you gave it a shot, you'd like it too.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for that. I've been wanting to read a farm-based cozy mystery for a while now because I have like farm dreams myself, and I have Kindle Unlimited, and so I love that she was like, oh yeah, Kindle Unlimited. She remembered that I have that, and I'm always looking for Kindle Unlimited cozies. So I am so excited about that recommendation. Thank you so much, Cozy. All right, the fourth thing that's changed about me since starting BookTube is something I've already pretty much talked about with, you know, discussing romance and finding my reading tastes, and that is I'm no longer a literary snob. I did used to be quite snobbish because I do have a master's degree in English, and when you go through a master's degree in English and you're, you know, steeped in academia and academic study of literature, you do become a literary snob because at least at the time that I got my master's degree, it was not appropriate for me to be reading, you know, a romance or a cozy mystery. I was expected to read within my discipline and within my specialty area and to really study these from an academic perspective. And that got so ingrained in me that I carried that on even after I graduated. And I just became a real literary snob. I talk about this a little bit in the tag that I created called the Pain Over Joy tag, which I'll link you to up here. But since starting BookTube and meeting all of you wonderful people and hearing you all talk about how much you love books and how much you love storytelling and how a good book doesn't necessarily have to be like critically acclaimed for you to love it and enjoy it and feel connected to it, it really is reconnecting me with just the joy of reading over like the mental aspect of analyzing and critically thinking about reading. Now, granted, I still really like to do that, so I am going to still do that, you know. It's part of me. That analytical academic approach to reading is part of who I am. So like doing things like judging for the BookTube prize, where you're really looking at books analytically and from a more scholarly perspective, I think is something that I'll probably continue to do, and I'll continue to read the classics, and I'll continue to read critically acclaimed books and books from my specialty area. But I also am just learning to read just for the joy of reading and to kind of set aside that inner critic so that I can enjoy the story. And it's made me really happy. I feel like a more well-rounded reader, and I feel like it's a more fair approach to literature in general. Next for recommendations is my friend Francois. I don't even remember when Francois and I met. We have become fast friends. I adore his channel. We have very similar reading tastes. We've been doing a lot of buddy reads, and we especially tend to line up when it comes to like thrillers and mysteries and YA. Not so much when it comes to classics, because we have slightly different tastes, I think, when it comes to classics, but we are really spot on, kind of very much the same when it comes to thrillers, mysteries, and middle grade as well. And so it's been so fun reading books with Francois and just getting to know him. He lives in Australia, reads a wide range of books, and does a lot of really interesting and dynamic videos. So do check out his channel, and let's see what he recommends.
Hi Jessica, it's Francois here from Mr. Fancy Reads. Congratulations on your BookTube anniversary. I'm so happy for you. I think this is wonderful, and it's always good to celebrate a milestone. I feel very honoured that you've allowed me to come here and recommend a book for you to read in honour of this celebration. So congratulations again. My suggestion is going to be The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. So why am I recommending this book? Well, I don't know how many fantasy recommendations you're going to get, and we've buddy read a couple of fantasies together, so I'd like to keep you going with that. And this is my favourite book that I've ever read so far since being on BookTube. So this is my recommendation for you. Enjoy it. I can't wait to hear what you think, and congratulations again. Mwah! Bye!
Mistborn. Oh, I should have known. Brandon Sanderson is like his favorite author of all time, so I should have guessed it would have been a Brandon Sanderson. I have read Mistborn, but it's been probably 10 years. And when I read it, I was still in that academic mindset, being a literary snob, etc. So I do think I will enjoy it much more reading it as the person I am now and as the reader I am now. So I am going to reread this. I think I'm going to just go ahead and reread the whole trilogy. So I'm going to order the whole trilogy and give it a go. I've heard nothing but good things about Brandon Sanderson, and I do remember really, really liking Mistborn when I read it originally. I don't know that I finished it. I got caught up in grad school, and things happened. So I'm excited to reread this one. Brandon Sanderson is super hyped, but I think he's probably hyped for a good reason. So yes, excited for this. Thank you, Francois, for the recommendation. Okay, the fifth thing that has changed for me as a reader is I am really getting into middle grade. I do think this connects back to me being a literary snob. I, again, saw middle grade as just being children's literature, and I wasn't the right audience for it, so I never really even gave it a try. But I have met some really interesting booktubers who adore middle grade, who find middle grade to be their favorite genre. Some of my favorite middle grade booktube channels would be Alexandra Roslin. She goes by Lexi. So I kind of stumbled over her name there. So Alexandra Roslin and Gavin at How to Train Your Gavin. And Jade at JD Ray Reads. They are like the middle grade experts basically on BookTube, and their love of middle grade and their passion for that particular age range and genre, I don't know if it's a genre or more just a target audience, has inspired me to read more middle grade. And some of the best books I've read this year have been middle grade books. So it's a genre or an area of reading that I am going to continue to read and hopefully do an even deeper dive into it in the future. I really am interested in rereading some of the classic middle grade and middle grade from my childhood. So lately I've been rereading Goosebumps. There is a horse series that I want to reread called Thoroughbred, so I actually went ahead and bought a bunch of them. I want to reread, like I said, some of the classics like Little House on the Prairie and the Chronicles of Narnia and all of those, and just try to immerse myself in this area because it is, I don't know, it's so heartwarming, and you just leave these books feeling really good. So that is something that has changed. My next friend to recommend a book to me is Helen. Helen and I started our channels, I want to say, around the same time, because I remember meeting Helen through the BookTube newbie tag. And we have gotten to know each other over the past year. She is just the sweetest, kindest person. And we've been doing buddy reads. We've been doing buddy reads almost one every month for a while now. So you've probably seen me mention Helen on my channel before. Let's see what book she recommends.
Hi Jessica, happy BookTube anniversary. I am delighted to be able to pick a book for you. I compared our Goodreads lists to find a book that both of us hadn't read, in the hope that maybe we can buddy read together. And know we've done loads of buddy reads before, so I thought, why not add another one? And I have chosen the only Jane Austen book that I have not yet read, and that is, well, of the popular ones, or the main ones, there's the main 6, isn't there? And I haven't read Sense and Sensibility, and according to your Goodreads, neither have you. So I thought, why not read it together? I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen the film or anything, but I'm hoping to read the book first and then watch the film. So it says, Marion Dashwood wears her heart on her sleeve, and when she falls in love with the dashing but unsuitable John Willoughby, she ignores her sister Eleanor's warning that her impulsive behaviour leaves her open to gossip and innuendo. Meanwhile, Eleanor, always sensitive to social convention, is struggling to conceal her own romantic disappointment, even from those closest to her. Through their parallel experience of love and its threatened loss, the sisters learn that sense must be mixed with sensibility if they are to find personal happiness in a society where status and money govern the rules of love. So yeah, I'm excited to finish the last of the Jane Austen novels off, and so I hope you can accompany with it. But either way, if not, this is the book that I've chosen for you, and yeah, I hope you like it. I'm really glad that we've become friends on BookTube. I've enjoyed all of our buddy reads that we've done together, and any chats that we've had along the way, and I look forward to getting to know each other more in the future.
Awesome. Yes, I have not read Sense and Sensibility. That is one of the Jane Austens that I haven't read, and I'm definitely down for buddy reading it. I'm really excited. I think classics are easier to digest and more fun to read when you buddy read them with someone, because sometimes classics can be a little bit more challenging in the writing style and the content. So when you read them with other people, you can kind of talk through the parts that maybe you don't understand or maybe that aren't making sense. And I just think that they're best read with other people. So absolutely on board with a buddy read. And if any of you want to join us, feel free. I'll let you know when we decide to buddy read that one. Thank you, Helen, for the recommendation. The 6th thing that has changed about me as a reader since starting BookTube is that I actually listen to audiobooks now. I used to have a lot of trouble listening to audiobooks. I have trouble understanding spoken language sometimes. I usually have to have like captioning on for videos and for TV and stuff like that. And it's just something that happens with my brain. I comprehend written language much more effectively and efficiently than I do spoken language. And I experienced this too when I was learning another language, like when I was learning French. I have the same exact issue when I was learning French. That spoken language was really not easy for me at all, but I picked up on the written language very quickly. So audiobooks had been a real struggle for me, and I was of the opinion that I would never be an audiobook reader. And what I did was I started to read audiobooks, particularly reading nonfiction on audio, and that was really helpful because it was more like I was listening to kind of like a lecture on a topic than reading like a novel. And that really helped sort of train my brain to be able to comprehend audiobooks a little better. And now I have started listening to actual fiction in audiobook, and what's just important to me is that I can't be doing anything with my brain while I'm listening to the audiobook. Like I can't listen to an audiobook and send an email. So when I'm listening to audiobooks, I just have to make sure I'm like doing something mindless, like washing the dishes or scooping the cat litter or whatever. So I do listen to audiobooks now, and I think that that is part of the reason I've been able to read so many books this year. My next friend to recommend a book is Joharra. Joharra loves to read fantasy. Joharra is also an author. She has several fantasy novels that she has published herself, and she and I have been talking a lot about writing in this past year. It's been such a great time getting to know Joharra. We have a lot of things in common. So let's see what book Joharra recommends.
Hey! So I am recommending for you, Jessica, Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel. I don't know if you read it yet. I hope not. But it's such a great book. I don't know if you're a fan of Hocus Pocus, honestly, but most people are. So, because it's a classic. But basically, in this book, the beginning is just like the movie, almost word for word, except for they did add a couple, like I think 2 maybe scenes that wasn't in the original movie. But then that lasted not even half of the book, the movie, and then you jump 25 years later, and it's about Max and Allison's daughter, Poppy. And she makes the same mistake as her father, Max, and brings the witches back, but it's more complicated this time because the witches try to bring back other witches as well. So she has to work with her best friend Travis, her crush Isabella, and her frenemy Katie, who is also the daughter of one of those guys that bullied Max in the movie. Jay, I think he was the blonde. I think that was him. So they have to try to stop not only the Sanderson witches, but all these other witches they want to bring back. Wrong movie. Brinks. Binks. I said Brinks. What the heck is wrong with me? Binks comes back to help. Or, well, his ghost. Not him as a cat, because he's no longer a cat. But his ghost and Emily comes to help. And so does the fourth Sanderson's sister, Elizabeth, that no one knew about because she was a good witch. And she comes to help as well as Ghost. So there's all that, which is fun. But there's just so much more in the sequel, honestly. And I think I love it more than the original, to be honest. And I loved all the little twists they put in. And it's a really great book. And I highly recommend it. And I feel like despite Hocus Pocus being so popular, the sequel book is so unpopular. It's so underrated, I feel like, and I think you will love it. So this is what I am recommending to you.
Oh, that is so cool. I have not read the Hocus Pocus sequel book, and I am so excited to read it. I love Hocus Pocus the movie. I have loved it since I was a kid. We watch it every year around Halloween, and so yeah, I am definitely down to read that book. Thank you so much for the recommendation, Joharra. The 7th thing that has changed about me as a reader since joining BookTube and just as a person in general is I've met so many genuine, true friends since joining BookTube. Whoever says internet friends aren't real friends, they're completely full of crap, because my internet friends, people I've met through BookTube and Bookstagram and through like the book related discords, have become some of the best friends that I have, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Speaking of Discord group, the next friend to recommend a book for me is Lee, and I did meet Lee through the Killing Time with Cozy's book club. Lee reads a lot of different kinds of books, kind of like I do. She reads a lot of cozy mystery, thrillers, romance, contemporary classics. We've done a couple of buddy reads together. We read Dune together, which was very much outside our comfort zone. And then we attempted to read The Secret History together as well. So I foresee many more buddy reads in our future. Let's see what Lee recommends.
Hey Jessica, happy BookTube anniversary. Congratulations. I want to thank you for asking me to recommend a book for you. The book that I'm recommending is The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. This is a thriller, and it's about a couple named Jackson and Daphne who look like they're the perfect couple, and a woman named Amber who's extremely jealous of Daphne's relationship with Jackson. I hope you read it, I hope you enjoy it, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Again, congratulations.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. I do love a good domestic thriller, and I think Lee has really good taste in thrillers, so very excited to pick that one up. Thank you so much, Lee, for the recommendation. The 8th thing that has changed about me since starting BookTube is I actually learned how to film and edit videos, and the best way that I learned how to do this was by doing vlogs, because when you vlog it does require like a lot of editing, and I just tried to learn one editing skill at a time, and it's been an interesting journey. I came into this knowing absolutely nothing about video editing. I have some photography background, but no videography background. So it's been an interesting learning experience, that is for sure. Okay, my next friend to recommend a book to me is Tiffany at the Beach Bum Bookworm. And I met Tiffany, how did I meet Tiffany? I think I met Tiffany through the BookTube newbie tag way back when she was just a baby channel. And really got to know her through her reading sprints that she started doing every Friday night. So let's see what Tiffany recommends.
Hey Jessica! Happy YouTube anniversary. I'm so thrilled for you, and I'm so happy I've gotten the chance to get to know you over this past year. I love watching your channel. You talk about such a variety of books, and it's so fun to listen to your passion about books. And my goodness, I've seen a farm practically grow in front of my eyes. I love the vlogs that you do with all your new animals that you're acquiring. Oh, it's great. Thank you for asking me to be involved in your special day. And I have a recommendation for you. I know you asked for it, and here it is. So I was thinking about all the different tidbits and things I've learned about you along the way, and I didn't want to talk and give you a recommendation that maybe was one that I had said in the past. I was trying to scour and think of a new one. You might have heard this mentioned, but I don't think a lot. So it is of course it's a cozy mystery. Let me stop myself. Of course it is. What else would I recommend to you, my friend? So it is the first book in the Ethnic Eats Cozy Mystery series by Kylie Logan. The first book is called Irish Stewed. And this cozy mystery is set in Ohio. And our main character, Laurel, was this hotshot personal chef in Hollywood. And she kind of flops in that position. And her aunt talks her back into Ohio under the pretense that she runs this really upscale bistro sort of thing. So Laurel's like, okay, that could work. And she gets there, and it's a greasy spoon in an old railroad station. So kind of that diner. I know that you said that you're into that. The other thing is she decides to upscale it by doing a different ethnic cuisine each week, month, something like that. I know we've talked about a bunch of we talk about food all the time, right? So I thought that might be a really fun cozy for you to try out. Oh, thank you again for asking me to be a part of your special celebration. I wish I had confetti fall. Oh, maybe I'll try to do that before I send this to you. All right. I'm so happy for you, my friend, and I can't wait to see another year of videos. Bye.
I forgot to mention that Tiffany is also one of the leaders of the Killing Time with Cozy Book Club, and she only reads cozy mystery and romance, so that's why she was like, of course I'll recommend a cozy. I am excited to read that one. We talk about food a lot and different recipes, and I have mentioned several times that I absolutely love diners and like the sociology of a diner, and I love stories involving diners, and so I'm so touched that she remembered that about me, and I'm very excited to read this series. Thank you so much for the recommendation, Tiffany. Okay, the last thing that I noted that's changed for me since starting BookTube is I have been writing more. So I do write fiction, and since joining BookTube, I've met some other folks who are writers. Joharra is one of them. And so I've actually started to write more frequently, which feels really, really good. All right, Scott and Nelle have a book they are recommending for me. Scott and Nelle I met through my friend Simon, who is no longer on BookTube, but Simon and I had done a buddy read back in like January of this year. And they had commented on our videos on the buddy read, and I just kind of followed the breadcrumbs, checked out their channel. Their channel's really interesting. They're a husband and wife duo, and they have a lot of good banter and just some really interesting discussions about the books that they read, but also about like literature and reading in general. They have just really interesting insight into the world of fiction. I don't think they read much nonfiction, but they do read primarily like literary fiction and classics. And I love the books that they recommend on their channel. They usually end up being really good books. And in fact, several of the books that they recommended at one point ended up on the BookTube Prize like finalists. So obviously they have like exquisite taste in literary fiction. So let's see what they recommend.
Hello, Jessica.
Hi.
We have a recommendation for you.
We do.
Look, you can see it. I've not been good at hiding it.
This is the one.
We recommend Earthlings by Sayaka Murata to you. This is mainly because going through your Goodreads, we saw that you really liked Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and really, if you like Convenience Store Woman, you'll like Earthlings. It's a fantastic novel.
I haven't read Convenience Store Woman, but I do know that Earthlings is a good read. Worth your time. Lots of fun. Fun? I don't know. Not sure that's the right adjective.
There's some mild trigger warnings for it, though.
Like all of them.
Yeah. Just cannibalism down. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, awesome. I am very excited to read this. This has been on my TBR for a while because, as they said, I did really, really like Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. And they have talked about Earthlings a lot. And I do think there's a copy available at my library. So that is one I'm probably going to get to here pretty soon. I'm very excited to read that and let y'all know what I think about it. So thank you so much for the recommendation, Scott and Nelle. Well, that is my anniversary celebration. The things that have changed or grown in me as a reader since joining BookTube, the friends that I have made who took time out of their busy schedules to kindly make me a video recommending a book. I will read these books in the coming year and be reviewing them on my channel. So thank you again so much for all of you. Thank you to all of my subscribers who are here, who comment, who've been following along and been a part of this process. I appreciate every single one of you. And I hope that we can continue to get to know each other. If you want to do buddy reads in the future, let me know. If you want to do collaborations in the future, let me know. And I will wrap it up here and wish you all well. So until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye!